Hello everybody, we are ready for chapter 2. Hopefully you did really well in chapter 1 and understood everything that you were supposed to. We're going to use those skills to go a little bit further and talk about addition and subtraction. The first lesson today is called Addition Properties and Subtraction Rules. If you look right here, it says addition properties can be used to help solve addition problems. Now, if you have not already done so, turn to page 61 in your book. That's where we're going to start today. We're just going to go right into this first example right here, and it says Carlos is buying the items shown. Does the order in which the musical instruments are scanned change the total cost? So he is buying a triangle and a drum. And they're showing first that they rang up the triangle and then the drum. So if I have $10 plus $20, what is that going to equal? That's right, it's going to equal $30. Or let's say they rang up the drum first and then the triangle. When they did that and I did 20 plus 10, did that change the value? It sure didn't. It's still just $30. So no matter in which order we add those things up, it's going to come out the same as the same amount. So if you look right here, it says the order in which the instruments are scanned does not change the total cost. This is called the commutative property of addition. So commutative property of addition, that's important to know. You'll be asked a lot of questions about that. Actually, not just in this chapter, but in some chapters after this. Anytime there is a purple box on a page, that's a very important box. That's something maybe you should memorize or, maybe flag in your book that is a important page or something like that. Any of these purple key concept boxes are really important, okay? In this key concept box, it talks about the different addition properties. So for example, our first one that we just talked about was the commutative property of addition, which says the order in which numbers are added does not change the sum. They gave us another example of 4 plus 1 is 5 and 1 plus 4 is 5. So it didn't matter if the 4 came first or the 1 came first. When we add that up, we're going to get the same answer. Another addition property that we have is called the associative property of addition. The way in which numbers are grouped when added does not change the sum. So if we're adding numbers, if we're just adding, it does not matter if we group the 5 and the 2 together or the 2 and the 3 together. 5 plus 2 is 7, plus 3 is 10. 2 plus 3 is 5. Add that 5 on. We still get 10. One thing to know right here, this is important because this will come up when we are multiplying, dividing, subtracting, all of that. Anything that's in parentheses you would do first. So for example, in this one, 5 plus 2 I would do first and get 7. And this one I would do 2 plus 3 first and get 5. But no matter how I group these numbers, I'm still going to get 10. That's called the associative property of addition. All right. Our third addition property is the identity property of addition. That means the sum of any number and 0 is just going to be that number. So no matter what you add 0 to, you're still going to be left with your original number. 8 plus 0 is 8. 0 plus 8 is 8. No matter what you add 0 to, you're still going to get your original number. Okay, zeros do not change anything when you're adding. So let's go ahead and turn to the example 2. Let me move my book down so everybody can see. There we go. All right, example 2. Let's look at this and see which property of addition we use. There were 16 people at the pool on Saturday. There were no people at the pool on Sunday. How many people were there on Saturday and Sunday? So on the first blank, I'm going to write how many people were there on Saturday. So I'm just going to kind of write that in so I know what I'm writing. On Saturday, how many people were at the pool? 16. On Sunday, there were how many people at the pool? No people. So there were 0 people at the pool on Sunday. So if there were 16 people on Saturday and 0 people on Sunday, how many people were there in the 2 days? 16 people. And it says this is the blank property of addition. Well, if I can't remember what I just went over, I can turn my page back. And remember, I'm adding 16 plus 0. Let's see which of those it goes with. So if I'm adding something plus 0, that would be the identity property of addition. So on this line, I'm going to write identity. Okay, the identity property of addition. So there were how many people at the pool on Saturday and Sunday? 16 people at the pool on Saturday and Sunday. You can use properties and rules to find the unknown or the missing number. So unknown is something you don't know or it's missing, okay? Example 3, I'm going to find the unknown in 10 minus something still equals 10. When you subtract a 0 from any number, the result is the number. So the unknown is a 0, okay? Here's this purple box again, something very important for you to know. These are your subtraction rules. They don't really have names, they just have the rule. One of them is when you subtract 0 from any number, the result is the number. And that's what we did right here, okay? This one says when you subtract any number from itself, the result will be 0. So 16 minus 16, that's the number in itself, you're gonna get 0. 20 and 20, the number in itself, you're gonna get 0. So again, these don't have names like the addition properties do. You just have to know the rule. All right, let's try some practice down here at the bottom. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna find the missing number or the unknown, and then we're gonna match it to the property that it goes with, okay? So for example, if I have 19 minus something and it's still gonna equal 19, I'm gonna look at my subtraction rules since I'm subtracting in this problem. So if I have 19 minus something and it still equals 19, what did I subtract from that number? I subtracted a 0, okay? Now I'm gonna look, no, I'm gonna do all of these first before I match them up. Okay, so let's look at number 2. I have 5 plus something plus 2 is the same as 5 plus 9 plus 2. What is the missing number? I've got a 5 and a 5. I've got a 2 and a 2. So I need a 9 and a 9. So I'm gonna put a 9 right here, okay? And I can see that these are grouped differently, but they're still gonna equal the same thing. All right, on number 3, I have 74 plus 68 equals the same thing as something plus 74. Well, if I've got a 74 and a 74, I need a 68 and a 68, okay? So now I'm gonna think about what rules these followed. Okay, let me move this up, make sure you can see. Okay, I have the commutative property of addition. I'm gonna go back and remind myself of what that means. Commutative property of addition. The order in which the numbers are added does not change the sum. So their example is 4 plus 1 equals 5, and 1 plus 4 equals 5. So I'm gonna come back and find an example that looks like this. Now I know that this first one is a subtraction problem, so I know it's not gonna be one of the addition properties. Right here, I have my numbers grouped, and since they're grouped, I'm gonna put right here parentheses, and I know that the commutative property of addition didn't include parentheses, so I know that's probably not gonna be it. So let's say that let's look at this one. 74 plus 68 equals 68 plus 74. I believe that's gonna be the commutative property of addition because all I did was switch the order of the numbers, okay? Associative property of addition. Let me go back over here. The way in which the numbers are grouped when added does not change the sum. So we can see that these are grouped here and here differently, and that's associative property. When I come over here, I've got my numbers grouped, so I know that this one must be associative property. And then finally, when I subtract 0 from any number, look at that. It goes right with it, okay? So this is what your guided practice area should look like. You should have the things matched up just as I do. All right, what you're gonna do now is the independent practice on the next page and on the back of that page. You have to find the unknown and then write the property just like, well, sort of just like this right here, except we matched. You have to write in the property, and you will find the properties either in this purple box on page 62 or this purple box on page 61. Those are where you find your properties. Then On 10 through 19, you will use the properties of addition to add. It doesn't ask you to put what the properties are, it just wants you to add, okay? And then on the back, you have some problem solving / word problems, all right? When you finish doing those, you're going to first be sure that you understand everything, and then you're going to log into Schoology, and you're going to do the self-check for Chapter 2, Lesson 1. You get 2 chances, so if you don't do real well on the first chance, be sure that you go back and review the subtraction rules and the addition rules, and then give it another try, okay? I'll see you tomorrow with Lesson 2. Goodbye.